Hey, it's Bishop Andy. I'm excited to be back today. I'm sorry I've been gone, I've just been busy, taking care of different things. And but welcome to my extraordinary series. This is part 6, all right? So I hope you guys have all watched the previous videos. I encourage you guys to watch those before you watch this one so that you'll have an understanding on the whole purpose of the series, and that is being extraordinary. Alright, so this is part 6. Now, before I begin my lesson, I don't have a degree in psychology, or I'm not, a doctor or anything, so please don't get me wrong. My ideas they're general ideas for a general audience, it's not, I'm not, a genius and think I know it all, and I have the answer to every problem. All right, so like I said, they're just general ideas, good ideas for a general audience that would just help people be better. So please don't get me wrong. All right, so I just kind of gather whatever information I can get, and then make a lesson out of that. So let us begin. Today I wanted to talk about the importance of having a good perspective on life. Now, perspective is defined as your view on something. Now, you can either have one of two things, a good view or a bad view. And of course, we all want a good view. Now, the good view is the extraordinary perspective. The bad view is the ordinary perspective. Alright, so I'm going to go a little into detail on the two perspectives. So, let me start with the extraordinary, the good perspective. Alright, now, extraordinary people, they have a good perspective on life. They have something within them that leads them to be successful. There's something within that perspective that leads them to be great in life, to be successful and bright and shiny every day. But that thing is, it's called eternal optimism. Alright, so there's the extraordinary perspective, and then under that good perspective is eternal optimism. Now, what is eternal optimism? Eternal optimism is, optimism is defined as something that, within you, that you're excited that things are going to be good, that you're optimistic, that you have faith in the future, that you're excited that things are going to turn out well. That's being optimistic. Now, eternal optimism is forever having that excitement within you that things are going to be good in life. Now, there are 3 things that lead you to have eternal optimism, and that leads you to have a good perspective. And number 1 is God. God is eternal, so we need Him in our lives to have that eternal optimism, that eternal happiness. Number 2 is good family. We need good family that will give us good advice, so that advice can feed the optimism that is within us, so that we can be successful and great. And number 3 is good friends. We need good friends, good loving friends that will support us and be by our side, and help us to be better people. Help us to have a greater optimism within us. So, eternal optimism, we rely on God, good family, and good friends to have that eternal optimism. And that is what we need. We need an eternal optimism to be successful, to have, that is what leads us to have a good perspective in life. Alright? So that's what eternal optimism is. That is the good perspective that we need. So make sure you do everything you can to have that good perspective so that you can have eternal optimism within you. Now, that's the good perspective, which is the extraordinary perspective. That's number one. Alright, number two is the ordinary perspective. That's the bad perspective. Now, what is the bad perspective? The bad perspective, what leads people to have that bad perspective? What is it that is inside them that leads them to have a bad perspective? Alright, that is a temporary optimism. There's a difference between what I just said. The first one I said was eternal optimism. That's forever. Eternal is forever. Forever being joyful and excited about the future inside, eternal optimism. Now, the one I just mentioned, temporary optimism, is what people with an ordinary perspective have. Now, a temporary perspective is very damaging to life. That's what ordinary people have. Now, temporary optimism is based off of a lot of bad things in life. And what are these bad things? Some of these examples are drinking, partying, bad friends, bad family, not having God in your life. That is what temporary optimism is based off of. They think that a night of a lot of drinking, a lot of smoking, and a lot of bad sex is gonna help your life. I mean, that's what temporary optimism is, and they think that is what it's gonna help them. But it's only temporary optimism. Remember, it's not eternal. It's temporary, and that's what leads to have a bad perspective in life. And that is what we need to stay away from. So, I just gave you the two perspectives on life. There's the extraordinary perspective, and then there's the ordinary perspective. Now, you need to make sure you do all you can do. Make sure like I said, do all you can to have an extraordinary perspective, so that you can have an eternal optimism within you, so that things will be good in life. Alright, now, I'm really trying to focus on having this eternal optimism, because me, I'm still a young guy, and I don't have a lot of experience, but I'm kind of learning, from my lessons. So that being said, I really thought it was of great significance to talk about this today, and I hope it can help all of you guys out. It's very important that you have a distinction between a good perspective and a bad perspective, and that is an extraordinary perspective and an ordinary perspective. Alright? So, just think on this, and it's something very important. I hope, I don't want to get too into detail because I don't like these videos being too long, but I hope I gave, good enough detail to kind of tell you the importance of having a good perspective on life. Alright, so I'll be back soon. I just gotta gather good information so that I can feed you guys good information. Alright, so this is Bishop Andy. Subscribe to my channel. And I hope you guys are all doing well, and may you guys have a great weekend.